get a great perk down because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card Spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry,
this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane. Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. At Foundation Repair, we fix basements.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome into On the Block. It is a Wednesday show here. Glad you're along for the ride. We're here with you for the next couple hours, 2 to 4 weekdays on 93.7 theticketfm.com. I am Austin Norman. Not in the fan transfer portal yet. Still rocking my Colts hat if you're not watching on stream. My partner, as always, the 9-year NBA vet, the Big 8 freshman of the year. Is that what you were officially? All defense team?
Yeah.
All freshman team at the very least?
Yeah, that and not my first year, no. All defense, the rest. Three of the 4. But yeah.
That's Strick?
Yeah, just a little bit here and there. A little something.
How you feeling today, Stricky?
I'm feeling absolutely wonderful, man.
You had your eyes opened, you said.
Yeah. So I woke this morning and I was trying to figure out whether or not I was going to go to the gym and lift or what. I felt really good. I felt motivated, but I ended up saying, let me try something else. I'm going to go and take this stretch class.
Ooh.
So I went in there and took this stretching class and it's in this hot room. And yeah, man, it was very refreshing. Very refreshing. Feel good, got in the sauna. Yeah, man, just feel like real relaxed today. So, the rain is here, but we hadn't seen rain in a while, so I'm not too upset about that part. So,
how was the interstate? How are people driving on the interstate with the rain?
It wasn't too bad. wasn't too bad. I mean, it was more rain in Omaha. The closer I got to Lincoln, it kind of phased out a little bit. So it was all good, man. And just glad to be here on the block with you guys once again, man. Excited about, hopefully Nebraska is able to build and continue to grow off of what transpired over last weekend. And I'm still awaiting them to put in a full game. Just a full, complete game with discipline. And look, I as I look back on, I can't even be mad at them. I mean, yes, we know they had close to 10 penalties, but I have to say at least 3 or so of them suspect. I can't really say that. So they've got to be able to get their what's the word? They got to be not swag. I mean, I think they in somewhat they have that, but they've got to be able to just get the benefits of just being a good team.
Yeah,
because bad teams don't really get those benefits as much, right?
No.
And I do think coach is fighting for it. I think the one that really was most disappointing for me in watching that was the penalty that they gave to Coach Rule for slamming down his handsets, and they did it on the field in their face, but you don't
after making contact with the guy too,
and made contact with the ref, right? So yeah, so you're hoping that that's the case, and then you have to throw out your tinfoil hats maybe and say, ooh, like let's be real, ratings are going to be a lot different looking at that upcoming game, and the one that they really didn't mean as much. So sometimes you wonder if someone's getting a call in an earpiece and figure out a way to, keep the advantage one way. I hate to say that, but sometimes you just have to ask. You have to wonder.
That you do. I do think it's an interesting insight into human psychology to realize just how much we do give the benefit of the doubt to the better team in those situations, right? I would like to think that there are, enough people here among us that are, that have a mind for justice, right? That want to see the little guy, pop up and pull the upset in sports. And yet, Strick, we don't always necessarily see that in officiating. And again, without putting the tinfoil hat on, a part of me is surprised that we don't see more calls go the way of the little guy. I mean, because these refs are people too, right? They have teams that they root for, they're fans of. And yes, they're supposed to put it to the side, but they're humans too, right? Emotions pop up, they get in the way. And yet, basically, since the dawn of sports, more often than not, we see calls go to the favorite. They get the benefit of the doubt more so than the other team trying to pull the upset. And that kind of makes you wonder sometimes, is there a fix, or is it just that's just the way the cookie crumbles? Because I don't think many other places in life, the favorites, the top dogs, always get that much of the long end of the stick, like it seems they do consistently in sports.
Yeah, and it's it's unfortunate that you have that dynamic, and I'm always going to say I'm for the little guy because I've always believed that I was the little guy. So I'm always looking for the underdog. I'm always looking for who can get the upset this week. And those are interesting and intriguing dynamics for me that I enjoy. So I'm rooting for you guys. I'm rooting for you guys out there as well. Some of you that may feel as though you're the underdog or you're the little guy, I'm also rooting for you. Just know that.
All right, Stricky, let's talk about refs a little bit more here. On3 put out an article, I believe it was Pete Nakos that wrote it, kind of just looking around the landscape of college football. We've been kind of focused on the bad calls that have hit Nebraska over the last handful of weeks. This was a more national look. It was a 10-call list of the 10 worst, according to On3. Jeremiah Smith's pass interference against Oregon final drive of the game. That comes in at number 10. Number 9, a roughing the passer against Indiana in the game that they played UCLA on a sack, right? You get roughing the passer on a sack. Ethan Garbers didn't even throw the ball, and Indiana gets flagged for roughing the passer. And then, Strick, we get to number 8, the Emmett Johnson run against Ohio State. I don't want to be a homer. This one should be higher.
Yeah, that's
it's
bad.
atrocious.
I mean, because you just look at how close that game was. You look at
Everything that went wrong.
Everything that went wrong. It like you just don't know what could have happened in that situation. That could have been in another Illinois situation where I have to kind of differ and put my mind to the nay side of this because of what I've been watching with Coach Satterfield as far as his creativity. Now, I know he has drawn up a few things that he's able to get it, but you never know. You never know what that extra time could have given you from where you were.
And don't forget that came after the offensive pass interference on Isaiah Nair that would have had Nebraska inside the 5.
Yeah. So you just never know how that could have played out. I think that's what, because that was egregious. Some of them you could be a little bit objective, maybe have some subjective. Is it more subjective? You could be subjective about a little bit, but boy.
Nebraska shows up again at number 7.
Of course.
But this one went in Nebraska's favor, Stricky. It was Jimmy Horn Jr.'s catch on the sideline on 3rd down. I think this would have been in the second half. I forget exactly where. Yeah, 3rd quarter, second half. The Colorado's down 28-0. This one probably makes less of a difference in this game. On 3 still says it was a bad call. But again, this one makes less of a difference in the Nebraska-Colorado game than potentially the Nebraska-Ohio State one, right? Think about everything that went wrong in that Nebraska-Ohio State game. The spot was wrong. Guy ran in wrong. Didn't stop the clock. Didn't initiate booth review. Cost Nebraska timeout. To John Hull's credit, he made the field goal not long after that, but that ended up a 4-point game. Nebraska-Colorado still ended up an 18-point game. Okay, so I have a hard time putting that Colorado sideline catch ahead of Nebraska's. Elsewhere on the list, Miami trailing to Cal. Golden Bears up by 6. Their quarterback gets rocked on a scramble. No targeting call on Miami. Cal punts. Miami takes the lead the very next drive when Cal probably gotten close to running out the clock. And Tricky, that's just one of 2 for Miami because you go back to the Fail Mary against Virginia Tech. And that's where a little creeps in, because think of the timing of these calls for Miami. Clemson hadn't really turned a corner yet in these games. Florida State was still in the forefront nationally, and people are still learning about SMU and about Pitt. The calls themselves were bad, but they look even worse in retrospect when you think just how much went into making it look like the ACC was propping Miami up with these calls.
This is where I get into my tinfoil hat. Earlier, in the season when we were talking on the block is giving our thoughts on who we felt would possibly and how many teams we felt could possibly get into the college playoffs. And as we were beginning to look at the ACC, you began to run down the list and start writing people off, and you gotta kind of understand that they know they need to. They can't have parity. Like they have to figure out a way to at least get 1 and maybe 2 in there. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but you just kind of have to wonder if you have a failing and a falling Florida State. Clemson is shaky, and you're not going to worry about North Carolina State and North Carolina. These aren't their years. Duke, none of them are going to be in there. Shout out to Pitt.
Yeah.
But there's really not much you can look at and say, they're going to make it. Notre Dame is not one that's a participator in
ACC.
In the ACC. So, yeah, you got to keep them propped up.
Same thing with the Ohio State call. But how about this one, Strick? We could have seen the end of Georgia's college football playoffs hopes against Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky has a pick 6 wiped off the board. Officials rule it a pick 6 on the field. Go back, look at it. They say the ball hit the ground. Georgia comes back to win 13-12.
Hey, now you got to figure out something. You got to come up with something on this one. You can only understand what I was doing if you're on the stream, because I picked up my phone and there was a discussion that was going there. That's crazy. Now, there's another place we've seen that, but I'm not going to say that.
Where'd you see that, Stricky?
Yeah, it's just say somewhere in the NFL.
Fair enough. Minnesota's onside kick against Michigan called back. Now, this one wouldn't have iced the game for Minnesota. It would have given them another chance, right? But to get the offense back on the field after it just scored, Michigan's defense back on the field after giving up a score. Again, I would honestly put this one underneath Nebraska.
Yeah,
maybe close. Right? Maybe closer.
Yeah.
Because the Nebraska one happened in the first half, plenty of time on the clock. It was more do or die for Minnesota. So, yeah, Nebraska had more time to make up for it. But Minnesota wasn't necessarily guaranteed to score, right? It would have taken more work for Minnesota to score a touchdown against Michigan in that situation than it would have for Nebraska against Ohio State, I would say. So that's just me. Personal foul against South Carolina. Would have had one against LSU in a game that South Carolina was up big, Stricky. But again, think about it at the time. LSU is kind of that college football playoff dark horse.
Yeah.
You don't want to say, but you kind of have to say. Virginia Tech's Hail Mary overturned. And then, Stricky, the tinfoil of all tinfoils, the setting a bad precedent of all setting bad precedents, Texas, Georgia pass interference. I still can't believe, number one, that we saw the refs overturn the call. Again, congratulations, they made the right call in the end. But it seems like it was influenced by throwing the bottles. And then, not long after, Nebraska goes to Columbus. Ohio State fans aren't happy. You get stuff getting thrown on the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem.
Yeah, and they need to be penalized for that. Like, you've got to come to a point now where the university or something, some form of a penalty, some form of a fine, because you're gonna have to stop that. Like, there needs to be a discussion with their fan base beforehand from the press box. The announcer come on and say, hey, understand there's no throwing of bottles. This can be a detriment not only to the players and the staff, but also it can hinder, it can cause fines and some forms of penalty to the team. We don't want, something they need to say.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's seen, because what that'll do is it'll minimize the throwing of the bottles, which then you can then set a focus on where it's actually coming from. And then you can start dealing with people accordingly, in that manner. I mean, it could be even some type of a fine or some type of discipline to the student.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would look like, but you've got to get to a point where you just can't allow that to happen, because if you can just look around, the more you allow stuff to happen, the more that it's going to happen and people become more bold.
And that's why I think we can credit Major League Baseball for what they did last night, Strick. You saw the Mookie Betts thing?
No, I missed it.
Mookie Betts playing right field for the Dodgers. There's a foul ball by Gleyber Torres down the right field line.
You're talking about the grabbing?
Yeah.
Of the, oh, yeah.
And the fans!
Okay, I wanted to make sure.
glove.
Yeah, I saw that and rip it off. Yeah.
Trying to yank the ball out of his glove, and those fans
I didn't know what the outcome
ejected.
was. Oh, they were immediately kicked out.
Yes.
And probably banned for life.
Interference call, immediately ejected, and still waiting on the ban.
Mm-hmm. You got to do that. Otherwise, you can't interject yourself into the game. Like the escalation of those type of things are Malice in the Palace, Stricky climbing up, trying to get my hands on somebody. You know what I mean?
Marcus Smart, his couple incidents.
Yeah. Yeah, there are definitely people that have done some things. And I mean, look, people can say stuff. You gotta have tough skin on that part of it. I mean, obviously you don't want to go. I think there was a time when they were doing something to Chris Paul. Now that's out of bounds. Don't mess with people's families, because that can cause people to come out of the court into the stands. Stuff like that. But you got to address that stuff. If you don't, trouble.
For sure. Let's go to break. When we get back, we'll talk some Husker football and a little Husker baseball recruiting with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Hour number 2, I dove into, with the help of Rico, Nebraska early and late down play calling. So first downs and then third and fourth and short. Is this a reason maybe why Nebraska fans are unhappy with the play calling? That'll lead off hour 2. And then I'm still not done talking about Anthony Richardson, but we're going to make this a bigger picture conversation than just him. Is the NFL failing young quarterbacks? How are they failing him? Is college football maybe the best avenue for some of these guys? We'll get into all of that in hour 2. But Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald joins us in a few minutes. Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, showers and thunderstorms likely throughout the day. It'll be breezy too, with the high around 63. Tonight, showers likely, an overnight low around 41. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. An afternoon high around 57. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
Hi, this is Investigator Joe Villamonte with the Lincoln Police Union, asking you to vote for Carolyn Bosin for legislator. As a prosecutor, Carolyn Bosin has always supported law enforcement to keep our community safe. Carolyn Bosin has the experience we need. Carolyn Bosin is the only choice for legislator to keep our community safe. Join the law enforcement community in voting to keep our community safe. Vote Carolyn Bosin on November 5th.
Paid for by Bosin for Legislature.
Across Nebraska, voters will have the chance to end the current government abortion ban. The government shouldn't be making decisions for families' health care, but right now they are. Ending the ban takes 2 votes. A vote against 434, the first initiative, and then a vote for 439, the last initiative. It's only this combination that will finally get the government out of the personal medical decisions of Nebraska families. Voting against 434 and for 439 ensures that when there's a medical emergency, it's Nebraska families who decide what to do, not the government. This vote against 434 and for 439 makes it so our Nebraska doctors can treat every patient. The government put this ban in place, stripping Nebraska families of their freedom, but you can end it with 2 votes. The first against 434, and then vote for 439. Paid for by Protect Our Rights.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block, brought to you by Nebco, our great friends there. Big thanks to Allo as well. They sponsor Channel 961, as well as our Allo Fiber VIP line. That's where they understand what, Stricky?
Start me.
Allo Fiber, where they understand.
Oh my gosh.
The importance.
Oh, the importance of exceptional service with local heart.
Nailed it.
Gosh, dang it, bro. I can't stand when you do me like that. The importance of exceptional service with local heart. Yeah.
We know. We know.
Jeez.
Speaking of local heart, Nebraska continues to recruit locally in the baseball scene. For more on that, we bring in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, have you been caught outside, or are you staying inside on a rainy day?
Yeah, I've been outside a little bit. And yeah, it's definitely raining where I am, or has been, but I'm not going to complain, man. We've needed the rain here over the last month or so. So, I'll take it.
That we will. It continues to rain in-state prospects for Nebraska baseball. The latest, Cordell Klinkingbeard. Best name in Husker baseball history at this moment?
Oh, in baseball, not in history. No, I mean, I'm still putting Mojo Hagee right up near the top there. That's a good one. But I mean, Klinkingbeard, what a name that is, and a nice addition for Nebraska's 26 class. And when you talk about baseball recruiting, it's a little bit different than football in the sense that a commitment like Klinkingbeard, you're not going to see him on campus even as a freshman until the spring of 27. So it's a little bit more of a long range sort of deal. But one of the higher rated prospects in the state in his class out of Papillion La Vista South, and he's working as a two-way kid, corner infielder, and a right-handed pitcher with some pretty good velocity. So you look at some of the other offers he had, Kansas State, Baylor, a few other, Creighton, a couple other higher-end programs. It's not one of those deals where, it was just Nebraska. So they won a pretty spirited competition for him. And I think in the bigger sense, like you look at kind of the trends of that particular class, Klinkingbeard kind of fits a lot of the profiles in terms of, I think it's now 8 commits and 5 are two-way guys. I think 6 are from within the state, and the other 2 are from Oklahoma and from the state of Iowa. So there's definitely a theme that they've got going on with guys who are pretty versatile in a lot of ways. And so when you're building your team out and you're kind of figuring out where guys fit, right now Nebraska is very much in the mode of let's get the most talented guys in here. And then, as time goes on, you kind of figure out whether you're going to go one way or the other. A handful will probably stay two-way, but typically those guys find a spot. And I think Nebraska is confident enough in its ability to develop that it's comfortable taking a high number of these two-way players.
Let's start with this. Do you think Klinkingbeard makes it to campus, or is he going to continue to rise where he might get poached by the Major League Baseball draft?
I think as of right now, yeah, you'd say he's probably set to make it to campus. The guys who you often have to look at with that are the ones who, quite honestly, are being heavily recruited by SEC schools. That's where most of that comes from. And while he has multiple power program offers, I don't believe any of those came from the SEC. You never know how things change. Again, he has his junior high school season, his senior season, another couple of summers on the travel circuit if he wants them to continue to develop. So you never really know for sure. But I think, right now, he's a local kid who wants to stay close to home. He knows a lot of the guys on the team. He's seen success stories play out from other players at, in-state schools, area schools. And so I think right now, he's looking to be a pretty safe bet to be on campus here in a couple of years.
Let's look at Nebraska's recent history with some of these two-way guys, right? You go back a little further, you get Jake Myers, right, playing the outfield and then pitching for the Huskers. Obviously, Spencer Schwellenbach, but maybe the more and most recent example was a guy like Will Walsh, who did the two-way thing for a couple of years before finally settling in. what is the general kind of thought process and timeline for Nebraska when it comes to these guys making a decision? How long do they have to prove under this staff that they can play both ways before the coaching staff maybe advises them to pick one?
Yeah, it's a great. I think it's a really interesting topic, and it varies from player to player. I mean, Jake Myers, as you mentioned, is one of those players who continued it through his college career. I mean, he was the Sunday starter, he was the center fielder, the speed guy, the leadoff guy, and it wasn't until he got into pro ball where he gave up pitching, where he was sort of more of a pitch to contact command guy. And honestly transformed his game and became a power hitter with the Houston Astros. So he's changed a ton in that time. Schwellenbach, his story, he had elbow issues when he was in college. And so you wonder what that could have been like if he had been at full health, but he kind of walked that line as shortstop and closer. Luis Alvarado is another name a lot of Husker fans might remember, who was a closer and an outfielder. Will Walsh was a two-way guy just until this last year when he decided, hitting probably wasn't going to be in his future anymore. So he comes in and he's just going to be a pitcher moving forward. So it really does depend. And I think, I talked to a lot of these guys in high school, and I think when you're a junior or a senior in high school, man, you're excited to be on a college roster, and you're such an unfinished product when it comes to baseball for the most part, that you're like, hey, I can pitch and I can hit, and you want to kind of keep all your avenues open. But I don't know. I think typically, like most of the guys that have that sort of mentality, it becomes pretty clear within a year or two that they're gonna go one way or the other. And sometimes it's hard. I mean, I think back to Shea Shanneman, who was a starter. It was hard for him to give up hitting. Like, that was something he really enjoyed doing. And other guys are just like, hey, whatever gets me playing time, I'm happy to do it. So it's definitely a case by case basis. But I do think Nebraska, generally speaking, over the last 10 to 15 years has been more open about guys coming in as two-way players and figuring it out, as opposed to sort of assigning roles and expectations before they get there.
And you could say the same for Nebraska football as well, I think, right? And you look at the number of guys that have switched sides of the ball at least once, if not twice, under Matt Rule. Do you think that that's intentional from the athletic department? Is that a Troy Dannon thing that says, hey, maybe look at this, take it into account? Or is it just kind of coincidental that football, baseball, and maybe even men's basketball to some extent are all moving the same direction?
I mean, I think Matt Rule and his staff, that was what they did, at all their other stops too, and oftentimes to great success. I thought one of the more interesting things about when Rule came in a year and a half ago was how he would look at certain players and say, hey, you're playing this position, maybe it would make sense to try a different position. And rarely was it about like what the team needed. It was more about like, hey, this is the path, this is the best chance that you have to play in the NFL and to take your game to the next level. So like John Bullock would be a great example of that, where he was for years at Nebraska safety, and really quickly when Rule was there, he kind of had his one of their first practices, he talked with the coaches and they said, let's move this kid down to linebacker. He's got the frame for that. He can put on a few more pounds, and sure enough, he's become one of Nebraska's best defenders this year. Or you look at Tommy Hill, who, if you remember in 22, was kind of oscillating between receiver and defensive back, and Rule and his staff put the kibosh on that pretty quickly and said, hey, you're a corner. And, look at where he is when he's been healthy. He's been a high projected NFL draft pick. So I think there's just this track record of sort of individual success where you look at guys and say, hey, well, how can you get to the NFL? And then typically that translates to team success because those guys are playing at a higher level as well.
Fair enough. One last thing on this before we get into a little bit more Husker football as well. When you look at two-way players, they're all over the place in college. Well, not really all over the place, but it seems like they're more common, right? Paul Skeens was a two-way guy before he committed. Jack Caglione was a two-way guy all the way through his college career. Do you like that that's kind of a quirk of the college game, or do you wish you would see more of that in Major League Baseball?
Well, I think it's on the upswing in part because of what Shohei Ohtani is doing. Like, that's been the big thing. I mean, really, you think about it at the professional level. Before Ohtani, like, the best, like, superstar comp was Babe Ruth, like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And so you haven't seen that at the professional level where you have a guy who's such an elite hitter and pitcher. You might see some good hitting pitchers, and of course that's a thing of the past with the universal DH now. You think of like Madison Bumgarner or Carlos Zambrano back in the day, but Mike Hampton, but like guys who are elite and truly, aces and sluggers, you just don't see it. So I do think what Ohtani's done the last couple of years trickles down a little bit, and it does affect what high school prospects are thinking when they say, it is possible. It's not likely, but it's possible that you can be an all-star in multiple facets. So, I think that does give guys the willingness to tell coaches, hey, let's give it a chance. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and we'll figure out more of a defined role as we go. But I just think when you see it being done at such a high level, you see a lot of examples now of kids who don't want to write themselves off until they have to.
We're talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald here on our VIP line, brought to you by our friends at Aloe Fiber. All right, Evan, Nebraska football, 4-point loss to Ohio State on the road in Columbus. But you heard a different sort of approach from Matt Rule, right? He said it was a different mindset in the locker room, a championship mindset. What did you take away from the sermonizing that Matt Rule did after the game on Saturday and then when he got to the podium on Monday?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of reflection on what had just happened. And, I mean, what a 2 weeks that was for Nebraska. And you got to credit Matt Rule and the leadership of that team for keeping things together, because we've seen it where Nebraska gets blown out by a top 15, 20 team, and things spiral, and one loss turns into two, and the team's kind of down in the dumps. And this group didn't respond that way. I mean, they came back and had the lead in the fourth quarter. They were, a 4th and 2 conversion or a late drive away from pulling off one of the bigger upsets in program history. And so, like, to me, that's a reflection of culture and a reflection of like what's driving these guys. Where's that motivation coming from? What's the foundation that they're working from? And I think if you're Matt Rule and you've been working for a year and a half to sort of turn the narrative and to get players to stop saying, here we go again, and to stop expecting a negative result. I think that was kind of a moment where you make note of that, and you put that out there, and you kind of savor that moment in a weird way. And not that it's a moral victory, because it was a loss and Nebraska's 5-3, but it does mark, I think, notable progress in what this program can do. Now, you look at the month of November, and if they lose out, it becomes sort of a footnote. So there's still work to do. And that was sort of the other part of Matt Rule's message was, hey, you guys played great today, but it has to carry over. Now there has to be consistency. Now you've seen how it's done. You know what that feels like. You know what the preparation that goes into that is like. And now you got to do it against a team that maybe people expect you to beat, and not one where you're sort of rising up as the underdog. So that's kind of the great question now going into November is, like, we've seen the low and we've seen one of the highs. I'd still put the Colorado win probably as the high point of this season, but what's ahead? Is there going to be continued sort of yo-yoing between, hey, they had a great game and then they had a poor game, or can there be some level of consistency that they achieve? And if they do, it could be a pretty fun month for Nebraska fans in a lot of ways.
Evan, as you were speaking on, I just want you to elaborate a little bit further on this part, because we've been here before. Now we're looking at 20 some odd games. This is not going to be that, not going to be a ranked opponent or nothing like that, but we haven't been bowling. We're the last team in the Power Fives to not had a bowl game. Is that something that can weigh heavy on it? Is that something you think that the coaching staff would try to keep out of the minds of those, or do you think that's something that they would use as a motivating tool to finally push them to do the Kool-Aid man and run through the wall?
Yeah. I mean, they. I mean, there's no doubt the fact that the bowl drought has been an albatross over the program for a while. I mean, it has been. And I mean, you look at, the fact that Nebraska is the Power 5 team with the longest drought. There's really only 2 teams in the FBS with longer bowl droughts than Nebraska at this point when you're talking about 130 plus teams. And so I think players are aware of it. Dylan Raiola said Tuesday, someone kind of mentioned that fact to him before practice, and he already knew it, but it kind of hit him differently. And, it's going to be a notable thing if they beat UCLA on Saturday. And like, it kind of, I think gets put in the background a little bit when you talk about what happened last week and about the matchups and things. But I don't think you can overstate the importance of knocking that monkey off your back. And there are others, right? Like there's the overtime monkey, and there's the consecutive losses to ranked opponents thing that's still there. But man, if you can remove one of those narratives and say, yeah, you got back to a bowl game, you got the practices, you got the destination game for a fan base that wants to support you into December, like that's progress. And that's what we're talking about still in year 2. And I know there have been times when, the build hasn't been as quick as a lot of people would want, but there's no denying that if you can win 6 or more this season and you do get back to the postseason, like that's progress. And so, yeah, I think it's enormously important to kind of move on from that particular narrative and build off of that. That's something that's kind of weighed this team down or this program down for a while. So there's no doubt they're playing not just to win a November game, but to move on from something that's been hounding them for a while.
Evan, I think Nebraska's played its best in its 2 biggest games of the year, the win against Colorado and then the loss on the road at Ohio State. Do you trust that this is a team that will be able to continue that standard to carry it over from Ohio State into the month of November? Are you a little bit worried that this is still an inconsistent bunch?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can be totally comfortable. Have they entered the circle of trust? I don't know. I think they're towing the line. They're getting close, after what happened last week. But, you just haven't seen it at Nebraska in a long time where, like, what's your level of confidence that like special teams are going to be crisp on Saturday, or that the run game is going to be something they're devoted to and effective with? Like, I'd like to think that it's going to be improved based on what we just saw, but I don't know that for sure. I do think the defensive part of that is what you would feel the best about, just given the veterans on that side of the ball, given the track record, given what Tony White's done with that unit in the last year and a half, and the fact that UCLA is not a good offensive team. I mean, they're just not. This game to me kind of sizes up to being sort of like a 17-10 kind of game. I think even with nicer weather potentially, it's going to be a low scoring kind of game because UCLA's defense is quite good. They have multiple future NFL players on that side of the ball, and Nebraska's had its own issues with consistency on offense. So I think it'll be a lower scoring game, but in a lot of ways that's probably going to favor Nebraska just because of the fact that those are the kind of games that they've been in, and certainly it's one where they can rely more on their defense.
When you look at the month of November for Nebraska, how much are you evaluating progress and steps in the right direction by record, and how much of it is by just the standard of play you see on the field?
Well, I think it's record, and I think it's identity. Like, it's identity on offense, especially. Like last year, you think about just the trajectory of offense that Nebraska's had under Matt Rule. A year ago, there was very little that we could glean from it, just because they didn't have the quarterback. They were limited in a lot of their skill positions, and so this was kind of that first year where you could see what they wanted to run, and it's been a little bit of everything. It's been a little bit of traditional run game. It's been a little bit of sweeps and a little bit of Heinrich Harburg as a wildcat, some downfield stuff. So I would like to see a little bit more consistency there, like be really good at a few things instead of average at a whole bunch of different things. So can they kind of key in on what their strengths are? I'd be watching for that. Defensively, I kind of think they are what they are, and what they are is pretty good. So you'd expect a number of close games. I mean, especially when you talk about UCLA and Wisconsin and Iowa, like those are not world-beating offenses. So you would expect some closer, maybe lower scoring games in that regard. But the record does matter. Like, you're to the point of the year where, if you play 4 more games like you just played, where you're competitive and there were bright spots, but you lose them all, like, you're not taking a lot of momentum into the offseason. Recruiting is going to be harder. Improving out of the transfer portal is going to be harder. So I think you do have to go out against some of these name brands. I think you got to take care of business against a UCLA team that you're favored against. And if you can, slay one of those teams in Wisconsin and Iowa that have had your number for a long time, I mean, that's another sign of progress that would get people excited, that would get, I think, recruits' attention as well. So, yeah, absolutely the record is going to play a part of what Nebraska wants to do, and, they're going to have to play well to get those wins.
Makes sense to me. Great stuff as always from Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Find him on Twitter, and then, of course, his work at omaha.com. Evan, as always, appreciate your time. Have a good rest of your week, man.
Appreciate you guys. See ya.
Evan joined us on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand what, Stricky?
The importance of service with exceptional heart.
Exceptional service with
local heart.
I'll give you an A+ on it. I'm a lenient grader. You were on the ball. You got it. When we get back, the 8 toughest positions to play in sports. We'll break it down.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Nebraska is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and proud to be involved in our community. Property tax relief is important to every family. Last year, I voted for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history, and I will continue to advocate for property tax relief. Vote Carolyn Bozin on November 5th. Paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Across Nebraska, voters will have the chance to end the current government abortion ban. The government shouldn't be making decisions for families' health care, but right now they are. Ending the ban takes 2 votes. A vote against 434, the first initiative, and then a vote for 439, the last initiative. It's only this combination that will finally get the government out of the personal medical decisions of Nebraska families. Voting against 434 and for 439 ensures that when there's a medical emergency, it's Nebraska families who decide what to do, not the government. This vote against 434 and for 439 makes it so our Nebraska doctors can treat every patient. The government put this ban in place, stripping Nebraska families of their freedom, but you can end it with 2 votes. The first against 434, and then vote for 439. Paid for by Protect Our Rights.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block. Big thanks again to Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald for joining us. Stricky, I'm throwing this one to you. You found this ranking that I thought was pretty interesting. What we got?
So, as I was working with Austin and we're going over a few things, there was something that I had pulled up, and I thought it was very interesting because, when you're looking at sports of the day and you're considering a lot of things that are out there in the space, and Austin and I talk often about these types of things, and we just said, you know what, we think we want to bring it to you guys this time, and we're gonna go through it, but I wanted to bring it to you guys and talk about the top 8 hardest positions to play in sports, not just football, not just baseball. Like, what are the top 8 positions to play in sports? And
the most difficult one.
Yeah, the most difficult. This was brought out by the Makeshift. And look, it is an actual. There was actual like survey or something. This isn't like something somebody made up in their own heads. It's actually based on a survey and some data that was discussed. So what we're going to do is we want to talk about the first 8 to 6, right? And do we have something we can give away today?
We got milk gift cards.
Yeah. So to whomever is the person to get the 7th person to get the number 1 answer right. No, actually, let's say the number 2 and the number 1 answer. If you can come up with the number 2 and the number 1 answer, and you're the 3rd person, and if no one gets it, then we'll go to the first person that got it, right? But what are the top 8 hardest positions in sports? Austin, what when you're thinking about the top answers in that, what do you come up with? Yourself personally, like what do you view? What would you view as anything from 8 to 6? Like, give me something that you think would fit in there.
See, to me, this is where we get into the conversation for positions that are tough, but maybe not the toughest, right? I think of like a right tackle, right? I mean, left tackle might be higher up, but I would think like right tackle, where you still have really good edge rushers coming at you. Your job is difficult, but maybe not quite as important because the quarterback's looking at you a little bit more.
Hardest position, though.
I know. So I'm saying right tackle is up there, but maybe not in that 1 through 5 sort of range. I mean, third base for me. I mean, think about
you would think that would be
corner
one.
Infield, but especially third base being on the hot corner there.
Yeah,
Stricky, I am mortified of playing third base. You
a lot
can't
of
pay
people
me enough
are.
to do it. No, I'm not a third base guy. So personally, third base, but then you mean shortstop. You're the captain of the infield. Got a lot of talking to do. The most valuable position, sans catcher in the game. So yeah, I would say maybe left side of the infield. In basketball, it just changes depending on the era. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility placed on the point guard offensively, on the stopping wing defensively, but really on the center, kind of being the quarterback of the defense. So basketball is a little different. I don't know exactly how to grade the difficulty of positions.
So Let me give you number 8.
Okay.
Number 8 is the position that Stricky played, the PG.
I believe it.
Does that surprise you?
I'd say
that far down?
There's a lot of mental demands. Obviously,
I think it's different.
demands.
I would have said it's more difficult a little bit a while ago, but with the change of the way that the point guard position is played, I can actually see that now. Okay. Number 7, you were right about a tackle, but it was just the other tackle, the left side.
Okay.
The left side tackle is number 7. And number 6, you're going to be surprised by this one. What do you think?
I'm
going to say football. I'm going to say football. What do you think? Definitely not running back just because of the way that's been.
Linebacker?
Interesting. No, it's actually quarterback.
Quarterback?
Really? Not quarterback. Does that surprise you?
Yeah.
That's a surprise,
that
right?
Really surprised
I really thought that should have been a little bit higher, but by the way that they feel that in this, number 6 is it. So, what are some of your thoughts? Send it down to us. Which
we got one. I'm going to give it to going to give it to 0778.
Really?
Yeah.
0778, hit the mark. We'll tell you what it is in a sec. We got to get out of here, though, pretty quick, but I'm going to run down it right now and give what it actually is up to that point where 0076 actually got it correctly. Goalie's number 5.
Which sport?
Hockey. Think about that freaking puck flying at like whatever the miles it is, and you have to split in the blink of a time. You have to do the split and throw your glove out. Come on, somebody! Hey, we got something.
But so I would agree, except that goal is so small.
Mm-hmm.
It's so small. Like just be a
well, okay.
So yeah, it's high velocity. You got to react quickly. Absolutely. The goal's not that big. You don't have that much area to cover.
Well, speaking of that, number 4 is actually soccer goalie. And that's where,
I would have soccer ahead.
There you go. There it is. Guess what number 3 is? It is in the sport that you love.
Doesn't narrow it down.
The Royals.
Can you name this guy for the Royals? Do you know who it is?
I do not.
Okay. Can you name a single pitcher on the Royals?
I do not know.
Okay.
Which type of pitcher?
Well, they have different challenges, right? I mean, starters are supposed to carry the bulk of the innings, but they're not really asked to do that nearly as much anymore. So I would say probably closer.
Yeah. Think about the pressure. Think about the weight that's on your shoulders. You either down one, you got to stop them. Somebody left some people on base for you.
Yeah.
You've got to shut the door on it.
Yeah.
Or you've got to come on with people on base and you got to lead. Either one of them are bad, down or up or even.
Right.
And that weight of that pressure that you've got to be ready. The minute you step on, you don't got time to miss a couple pitches. You've got to be on point. So that's number 3. Okay. Number 2 is on the defensive side of football. Cornerback.
Really?
Wow. You're like on a lot. You're on Revis Island on the regular. They've got cornerback. Because think about that, right? They can switch out. Wide receivers on you. So you're going to get a wide receiver gets tired. He can just go to the sideline and be like, I done just ran 2 fly patterns. I'm all right. But you ran the same fly pattern with him, but you got to come back and then a new guy comes in and you got to be ready to go.
Run that same fly.
Right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Number 2.
I would put QB ahead of CB, personally.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this day and age, too, of offense first, that we're just maybe starting to come out of, okay, I can see it being top 8.
And finally, he hit it. Unnamed texture 3880 hit it. Catcher.
Yeah.
Is number 1. And we talked about that. Like, I couldn't imagine being a catcher catching like Phil Necro's knuckleball or, because you got to keep everything in front of you. You've got guys, you got to be worried about guys stealing bases. You've got to think about the hitter that's coming up. You've got to think about working with the pitcher, and then the pitcher throws
the whole
you
pitching
off.
Staff.
The whole staff.
Yeah.
Right? hot, cold, knees bent. I mean, hands freaking swollen after getting
Broken
hit with
fingers,
105.
concussion.
Yeah, bro. Sack getting hit on a ball that goes into the dirt.
Right.
And if the cup is shifted wrong, trouble.
Woo! Speaking of different octave for a week.
Man. Catcher.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah?
I respect it.
There it is.
The tools of ignorance.
That's the list.
On them. That was fun.
Yeah, man.
Text
We'll
line.
do it again.
We sure will. Text line. Appreciate you chiming in. We're going to go to break. We'll talk some Husker football, some NFL quarterbacks in hour 2 of the show.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. Public safety is important in our community. I have a proven record of protecting public safety. I have prosecuted perpetrators of domestic violence, advocated for the rights of child abuse victims, held sexual predators accountable, and fought to keep drug traffickers off our streets. This is Senator Carolyn Bozin, and I will continue to fight to keep our community safe. Vote Carolyn Bozin on November 5th. Paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
This October, the Bonsall Spooktacular 10 event is back with spooktacular savings all month long. Stop by any time in October to discover incredible deals, including hot tubs as low as $5,995. That's up to 20% off MSRP. Plus, enjoy 10% off infrared and traditional saunas. Don't miss out on these hauntingly good offers. Visit Bonsall Pool and Spa today. Bonsall Pool and Spa, every day made better at 33rd and Pioneers.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and safe Halloween. With all the parents and kids out and about, they encourage drivers to be careful and respectful of trick-or-treaters. This important message comes to you from Bart and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
Tailored Life is your headquarters for all things fall in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, mums, and more. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most of which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by Nebco. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
This is On the Block. He's Strick, I'm Austin, brought to you by our great friends at Nebco. Really appreciate them for everything they do for us here on the show. They are hiring for constructors and ready-mixed concrete. They're hiring general laborers for the constructors brand. You can check that out at constructorslincoln.com. And CDL drivers for the ready-mixed concrete brand. You can apply today to start your career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. They'll offer you great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and even will pay for your CDL training. Check out, again, constructorslincoln.com, readymixedconcrete.com, or nebcoinc.com to learn more. 402-464-5685. We're gonna throw some meat to the Sharks here, Stricky. We're gonna toss some fresh meat out there.
Some red meat. Yeah. Some Mercado.
I'm not wasting that on Sharks. I ain't wasting that on Sharks. You can't make me. I mean, them Sharks would be happy.
Man,
Sharks.
they
you
would
imagine?
be excited to get some Mercado. Like, good gosh.
I'm
I
not
need
wasting.
to go out there and get me some more of the summer sausage.
Woo.
Man.
Big summer
I'm
sausage.
sorry. I didn't mean to distract you.
Okay, let me ask the question, and then I'll get you a follow-up.
Are we tossing this? Are we? We're really going to throw red meat to the?
Oh, we're doing this.
To the blockheads today?
We're doing this.
Oh,
what we do.
Shoot.
Okay.
All right.
A to F grading scale, Marcus Satterfield. Text line, go. Give Marcus Satterfield an A, B, C, D, or an F. Stricky.
No skipping.
Build your perfect sandwich.
No F minus? Nothing?
No.
Can't go E?
No.
Okay. Oh, A to F.
A to F.
Right.
Grading scale. Yeah. Like he's in class.
in school.
While we wait for responses, Stricky, build your perfect sandwich.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna go old school. Play on the words. Remember how back in the day when you was young and like
when I was young, you saying I'm not young?
You're an old head now. When we were young, especially me, we used to think bologna was the best of every. Now once you learn what really bologna is, you just like, I'm not eating that no more. You know what I mean? Some still do, and that's fine. But we used to fry bologna.
Yeah.
And make those little sombreros.
Ooh. When they curl up.
Yeah.
They like the good pepperoni cups.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you make so I'm gonna make the sombrero. I'm going old school.
Okay.
Make the sombrero. Put it on a nice slice of Wonder Bread. That ain't no McDonald's. That's Wonder Bread. Put it on some Wonder Bread. Then, because it's gonna soak up. It's gonna soak up all the grease and juice. Right?
William Durazo says raw white bread so it gets stuck on the roof of your house.
You feel me, William? That's where I was going. That's where Okay. Then put maybe a little piece of cheese. Now,
what kind of
old
cheese?
school?
What kind?
The big thick block.
But what kind? What type?
I mean,
don't matter.
The kind that they give you from the
government cheese?
old Wick cheese.
Government.
The big government cheese. The big block.
Okay.
Melt it a little bit first. So it's okay. With a little bit of mustard, some mayonnaise.
Ooh.
Maybe a little hint of lettuce.
Okay.
And let's go.
I like it.
Simple.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm building that.
Okay. Perfect.
I would love to build a good sense, but I'm not them.
I was going to say, get to the Mercado for all your meats, every type of meat and every type of cut. So build your sandwich with the Mercado or with Good Sense. That's what we're going to do on Friday. Looking forward to that. The results from the text line are in, Stricky. Marcus Satterfield grade. We have a C, a D plus, D, all F, trash, F, D plus, C minus, or D plus. F, the guy just realized last week QB1 could run. D minus and D.
You got William on there. You got D on him too. William, we see you. We see your D. Pause. Okay.
So, follow-up question. Text line, why did you give the grade that you did? Why did you give the grade?
Interesting.
Let me know. I want to see if your responses match up with some of the data that Rico and I pulled. So, Stricky, what grade would you give Marcus Satterfield in a brief explanation?
Tomfoolery, buckery, change the word, frankness, facts. You know where I'm going? What does that mean? Take out all the other words that make up those words, and what do you get at the beginning?
You get an F.
F.
You get an F.
He got it. I would have given him a D last, but he's regressed because you know why? He's shaky.
But why is he shaky? What goes into shaky for you, Stricky?
Creativity, lack of vision, maybe throwing when should be running and running when he should be throwing. I don't know. Was a whole bunch of stuff in there.
Okay. You use that last part. Throwing when he should be running and running when he should be throwing. I think we can look at this through two particular sets of downs for Nebraska. First down, and then third and fourth and short, which for the purposes of this very non-scientific study, Rico and I decided 3rd and 4 or 4th and 4 or less. So Stricky, in non-conference for Nebraska, so against UTEP, against Colorado, and against Northern Iowa, what do you think the ratio of run to pass was for Marcus Satterfield on first downs?
Me, I always said I believed he was going to go 55-45.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that.
Okay, Marcus Satterfield on first downs in non-conference. This is with starters in the games when it actually mattered. Okay, starters were playing against UTEP. 14 runs, 13 passes.
Mm-hmm.
Against Colorado, 18 runs, 13 passes.
Mm-hmm.
Against Northern Iowa, 8 runs, 19 passes on first downs. Adds up to 40 runs and 45 passes.
Okay.
Slightly in favor of passing, but not hugely, right? Maybe a little bit less than the 55-45 pass to run that you expected. Okay. 3rd and 4th downs with 4 fewer yards to go. In the non-conference, Nebraska ran the ball 9 times in those situations and converted on 7 of the 9 when they ran the ball 3rd or 4th and short. They converted 5 of their 9 pass attempts on 3rd or 4th and short and went 1 for 1 on field goals. Okay, so 40-45 in the non-conference. Let's switch over to conference play right now, Stricky.
Well, with that in mind,
what
real
you got?
quick,
Yeah.
To me, what's frustrating about that is you had success, you put it on film, and I'm willing to bet that if we went back and tracked the film on that, the runs that we were doing are the freaking same ones that they're trying to do in conference, which is now getting stopped up and blocked because guess what defense are doing? They're just basically doing what you basically showed them you're going to do. Okay, that was my point.
Okay, but you see 40-45. That's not really a tendency one way or another. Okay. Slight lean pass, but it's not like, oh yeah, they're probably passing on first down, right? And then again, 3rd or 4th and short in the non-conference in snaps that mattered, it was 9-9. It was even.
Yeah.
No tendency. Okay.
Yeah.
So just interesting. Keep that in mind. Let's scroll down to conference play. You've had 5 data points now, not just the three non-conference games. In conference play, on first down, that matters, right? Starters in the game and whatnot. Nebraska has run the ball 70 times and passed it 77.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar ratio.
Yeah.
To non-conference. So overall, that is 110 run to 122 pass on first downs that matter. Again, completely non-scientific.
Okay.
You take out the Indiana game, Stricky. Marcus Satterfield is running the ball more on first down than he is passing it. Against Indiana, Nebraska ran on 9 first downs and passed on 22 of them. Granted, you're trailing, right? So they're trying to get back into the game. You're throwing a lot on first down to move the ball and whatnot.
Okay.
If you take out the Indiana game, it's 61 runs and 55 passes on first down for Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. Third down and fourth down, inside of 4 yards to gain. Nebraska has run it 22 times and converted 13 of them. Nebraska has passed it 7 times, converted twice, and kicked the field goal 3 times on 4th and 4 or less, and made 1 out of the 3 of those. So the numbers don't necessarily tell you that Marcus Satterfield is airing it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah, Nebraska threw it a lot against Indiana. That's the outlier right now. And I don't hate it, right? If you want to give yourself a chance to get back in the game, sure, try to put up quick points. Then when the game was really out of hand, they started running a little bit more. But against Illinois, 15 first down runs, 13 first down passes. Against Purdue, 16 first down runs, 17 first down passes. Then you have Indiana, right? 9 runs, 22 passes. Against Ohio State, 14 runs and 16 passes. Against Rutgers, 16 runs to just 9 first down passes.
Wow.
Indiana's the outlier, and maybe it's the wrong play call, but Strick, it's not like Marcus Satterfield is entirely overthinking himself. It's not like he's entirely underthinking himself. If you as a fan want Nebraska to stay on schedule on first down, he's basically 50-50 on it, right? Slightly more pass than run for the season. When it gets close, when it gets down to, hey, we got to move the chains, we got to move the sticks. Yes, there are shortcomings. Yes, Nebraska, again, 2 of 7 passing the ball. But 3rd or 4th down inside of 4 yards to go, when fans would tell you they want Nebraska to run the ball, Marcus Satterfield has run the ball basically 75% of the time.
So he's doing what you thought.
He's doing what the fans want.
What they
running the ball on 3rd and 4th and short.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So whose fault is it? Your fault. Fans, listeners, it's your fault because he listened to you. There it is. The numbers speak for themselves. You throw it out there. You put it out there. What you think?
I think it's interesting. I think it
is interesting.
I think that the balance is maybe even a little closer to the run versus the pass than I would have thought going into this exercise. You can't write off the Indiana game because it happened, but that's a game script that Nebraska has only followed once this year, just because of how quickly they got down and how big they got down. Still the most pass attempts in a game for Dylan Raiola. So, to me, it's not necessarily the theory. It's not necessarily, like, you can't just go run, pass, run, pass. That doesn't work in modern football, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be varied on first down. You got to keep defenses honest on second. And then come hell or high water, you run your best plays to convert on 3rd downs.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 3rd downs in conference play, 3rd and 4th downs in conference play. 22 runs to 7 passes for Nebraska, and then 9 and 9 in the non-conference. Right? Nebraska is running different. They're running both types of plays, runs and passes, more runs on short yardage in conference play. So, fans, I don't think you can say Marcus Satterfield is throwing the ball too much anymore.
Right.
Okay. I just don't think the numbers bear that out. What you can take issue with, what I will grant you, is that maybe it's not the exact right pass play to call, or the exact right personnel in for the pass play, or it's a run scheme that the other team saw coming. That I will grant you. That's where I land on that, Stricky.
Got you. Well, solid. I mean, for me, it's not even necessarily the ratio. It's not even necessarily that he's not doing it or he is doing it. For me, is that he is very predictable once he does decide on which way he's going to go. It's very, this worked last time, so let me do that again. And it's not, they probably are going to be looking at this, it's kind of like he's playing checkers in DC's good ones are playing chess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just playing a different game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very predictable game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On chess, what makes it uniquely different is that you have pieces that can do different things. Knights can make L's. Bishops can go as far as they want on a diagonal.
Mm-hmm.
And castles can go all the way across on an up or a side to side. And the queen can go wherever she wants.
Whenever
Where
she
in
wants.
checkers, you just only going straight forward until you have somebody in your face and then there's a jump.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seems like he's playing. He's playing checkers compared to everybody else who's playing chess.
Mm-hmm. Nebraska on the year averaging 32.5 passing attempts per game and an even 34 rushing attempts per game.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
That's
now,
what it is.
You can quibble occasionally with, Nebraska had momentum in the run game. Nebraska had momentum in the pass game, should have stuck with it. But again, that's balancing the art versus the science of play calling. And you're always going to say that, right? The offensive coordinator is never going to be the most popular guy. We've all played Madden. We all think we can sit back there and do it. And I'm not saying that we wouldn't be right sometimes to do it. Corey says, last year, Nebraska fans screamed from the rooftops, don't stop what's working, and why not keep running the ball? I feel like Satterfield picked up on that, but not adding any creativity as a wrinkle to disguise. And that to me, Strick, goes back to how does Nebraska accomplish its goals? What does Matt Rule say he wants his offense to look like? The model he's put out there for fans is the San Francisco 49ers. If you listen to Jay, he will tell you the San Francisco 49ers run like 6 different run plays, but they dress them up and they look different. Something as simple as motion, something as simple as I think Nebraska is recruiting to, like we talked about with Evan, versatile players that you can't pigeonhole as easily into blocker or receiver.
Or straight line runner.
Or horizontal or whatever.
Yeah.
The more versatile of pieces you get on offense, Nebraska can run the same 4 to 6 run plays, but they can make them look different before the snap with the same result after the snap once they recruit and develop to that. You rolling?
I have no problem. Again, I'm just going to be a stickler on what I see, and that's creativity. Oh, that thing right. That's it. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Real talk. Normally, I don't think Uncle Kevy's going to be here this week. I just want to throw this out here. Would you guys think it would be cool if we did have a shirt? I just want to petition. If we had a nice design shirt between Kevin Meyer and I, and it said "Clicky for Stricky." Would y'all think that would be pretty cool? Like we're at the bar going down Old Street. This is a Clicky for Stricky. You know what I'm saying? And then whatever it is, if you're clicking the bottle, if you're clicking the brew, if you're clicking the wine, whatever you're clicking is a clicky. Would y'all think that'd be cool? I'm thinking about putting that together. I just want your thoughts.
What if it's Clicky for Stricky on the front? Can it say pop, pop, fizz, fizz on the back?
Yeah. I like, you know what I'm saying? It's something crazy. I'm thinking, I was thinking about that earlier today. And I know, Thirsty Thursday's coming in. That's my favorite day. And I was excited about the possibility of maybe putting something together. Cause I was, when he hit that clicky last week, I was excited
about it.
Yeah. Anyway, just thought.
Let us know.
Love to think what you guys think. 402-464-5685. Yeah.
I'm in. I'm wearing it every Thursday.
I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it.
Oh, I'm about it.
For sure.
We'll go to break. When we get back, NFL quarterbacks. Are they being developed? Should they be developed at the NFL level? We'll get to it after this. Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I was born and raised right here in Lancaster County. I understand the value of hard work by being involved in our family business. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. Nebraska families and business owners need lower taxes, more affordable health care, and a great education system. That is why I fought for the largest tax cut in Nebraska history, reduce the cost of health care, and help pass the biggest investment in our public schools. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, showers and thunderstorms likely throughout the day. It'll be breezy too, with the high around 63. Tonight, showers likely, an overnight low around 41. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, an afternoon high around 57. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empower a child today with a Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Across Nebraska, voters will have the chance to end the current government abortion ban. The government shouldn't be making decisions for families' health care, but right now they are. Ending the ban takes 2 votes. A vote against 434, the first initiative, and then a vote for 439, the last initiative. It's only this combination that will finally get the government out of the personal medical decisions of Nebraska families. Voting against 434 and for 439 ensures that when there's a medical emergency, it's Nebraska families who decide what to do, not the government. This vote against 434 and for 439 makes it so our Nebraska doctors can treat every patient. The government put this ban in place, stripping Nebraska families of their freedom, but you can end it with 2 votes. The first against 434, and then vote for 439. Paid for by Protect Our Rights.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block, Strick and Austin, with you for another half an hour or so. Some more coming out of Coltsville, Indianapolis. It is official. Anthony Richardson not starting. But Stricky, some new developments. Shane Steichen did not go into full detail with Anthony Richardson as to why he wasn't the starter anymore.
Well,
sketchy, little suspicious,
shaky.
Anthony Richardson seems like he handled it pretty well. But obviously disappointed.
But what's common about a lot of these guys? This is over the last 3.
Hey, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver 1 that you just gave an extension to, said he found out about the decision through social media.
Didn't talk to the team about it?
He found out about the decision through social media.
That's
And then I'm sure there was a meeting
That's
after
nasty
that. Okay.
work.
It's nasty work is right.
That's nasty work.
But that's all secondary, right? That's just this situation. That's how it's unfolding at West 56th Street. But Stricky, Sam Block put this out on Twitter. Okay. Anthony Richardson is 22, benched. Bryce Young, 23, benched. Trey Lance, 24, benched. Justin Fields, 25. Will Levis, 25. Zach Wilson, 25. Benched. Mac Jones, 26. Kenny Pickett, 26. Benched. He finishes by saying, the NFL has a quarterback development problem. Okay. Interesting. Let's take these situations because they're not all the same, right? That's important. You can't just paint with a broad brush. We went into Anthony Richardson. We've talked a lot about Bryce Young. Trey Lance. Think about his situation with the San Francisco 49ers. Did the Niners make the right call in benching him, or could they be in a better spot by having let Trey Lance play through his learning issues and getting very little back when they trade him to the Cowboys?
Let me say this. I think it's come to a point to where it really is the McDonald's, the Burger King, the Taco Bell, the fast food model. What happens if you decide on a fast food model, you get fast food bubble guts, which means you're sitting on the stool regularly with a bunch of, with a bunch of boo-boo in you, okay? And what I mean by the fast food model is that there's GMs, coaches, organizations. Everybody is chasing the Kansas City. They're chasing a dynasty internally.
Mm-hmm.
They're understanding that ROIs, they want it now. So a lot of places, a lot of teams, and don't feel that they want to wait and see and observe and develop and grow. They want it right now. And so what you have is a bunch of guys that come and a lot of them are not ready. They're not prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a system that they were in college. Well, now they're dumped with another system. Maybe the play calling is totally, and it's, just think about all the freaking plays that are, discombobulating your brain sometimes. You have to not only know that, you have to know shifts and moves and calls and adjustments. Mm-hmm. And it's a whole different game, I think, in the pros than it is. And just like in basketball, some of them, guys that come in, you're expecting them to be ready. Some of them coming out of high school. Some of them are coming from OTE, and some of them are coming from some of these places where they're not really developing their game. They're coming from an AAU system. Mm-hmm. Your Thon makers, they're tremendously athletic and gifted and all these different things. They're just not ready They're not seasoned. You're Bronny James.
Right.
They're not ready. Right. But you expect them to be because guess what? They're professionals. So that's
you
the
drafted
issue.
them and you made them a professional.
You made them a professional. And I think sometimes you're looking at the hype. I think sometimes you're looking at the news. You're looking at what some of the guys that are the draft modelers, some of those guys are saying. And are they really doing well? I actually think they're getting lazy. I don't think they're going and really doing real assessments and real, you know what I'm saying? Because you thought you did that with CJ Stroud and missed.
Right.
There's others like that. Yeah, you can. There's so many people that are book smart, but you put them in a real world, and
those streets fight back.
Right? And I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I don't want to take too much time. I want to allow you to dip and break it down.
Anthony Richardson, drafted as a project onto a competitive roster. Seems like a mismatch. Bryce Young, drafted as a relatively polished product. Found out that wasn't the case on a pretty bad roster. Trey Lance, drafted on a roster that you think can win the NFC Championship, get to the Super Bowl every year. Not given time to develop, moved past by a developmental quarterback. Justin Fields in Chicago, mess of an organization, mess of a roster. Will Levis, mess of a roster in Tennessee, mess of a coaching situation. Zach Wilson, bad pick for New York. Could not handle the bright lights. Mac Jones, bad roster. Had a great year, Pro Bowl alternate. Then the roster got worse.
Yep.
Kenny Pickett, was never sold on him to begin with personally.
Small hands.
But when's the last time Pittsburgh developed a quarterback?
Yeah.
Strick, okay.
It's not their thing.
It's not their thing. When you look at these guys, Kenny Pickett had to go. Capitalizing on hype, getting up there in age as well. Kenny Pickett had to go. Mac Jones had to go.
That was a homer type of situation.
Right.
As well. But go ahead.
So Kenny Pickett had to go to the draft. Mac Jones basically had to go to the draft. Zach Wilson would have been dumb not to go to the draft. Will Levis, you getting talked about as a top 5 pick? Obviously wasn't.
I already said that he wasn't. We talked about that.
Justin Fields, made a lot of sense for him to leave when he did. Trey Lance, oof. Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, makes sense to leave.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson, I don't know. Stricky,
I thought he should have stayed. But
yeah, it was the same. Jordan Love started more games at Utah State than Anthony Richardson has started since high school.
Yeah.
Think about that. You brought up the Chiefs model, Strick. Everyone's chasing the now payoff. That's exactly what the Chiefs did not do.
Facts.
They go out, they pay for a really good veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
And then they sit Mahomes behind him. Someone else followed up on that tweet, right, for all the guys that got benched. Caleb Williams, 22, starter. Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud, 23, starter. Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, 24, starter. Jordan Love, 25, starter. Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, 26, starter. Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, 27, starter. So much of how these quarterbacks fare is dependent on them. So much of how these quarterbacks fare is dependent on how they were coached in college. So much of how these quarterbacks fare is dependent on the organization around them. By that, I mean roster, head coach, and front office. Stricky, I think some of this is on agents too. If you are an agent and you see your client going to an organization that has not developed quarterbacks, it's tough. You want to make your money, but the NFL, shaky on quarterback development and their willingness to do it and stick to it, right? The Colts said they were going to. They said all the right things 2 years ago about Anthony Richardson. We know he's raw. We know he's going to need time to develop. And yet, the bottom line struck back. The cutthroat reality of the NFL struck back. Where should quarterbacks be getting developed? Should these guys rely on their college for their development? Does the NFL need to send these guys to a truer minor league? Should college be the minor league? Or do teams need to take maybe a little bit more of an onus in developing these quarterbacks themselves or with their outside trainer when they get to the league?
Listen, you knew that Jaden Daniels was extremely athletic. You knew that he could run like the wind. Michael Vick type just on the other side. Like he really is he's like that to me. I think he's got a big arm with big speed, and he's a dangerous threat. And if every team isn't starting to invest in their young players with like what Washington has done with the VR, I think you're doing them a disservice.
You're behind.
Because you can actually program it and train, and you can do all of that stuff. Like if they're not in VR training in their off season, I would even do it like on a Monday on an off day. They would need to be young quarterbacks, especially. They would have to be in film in some form of VR training with a programmed thing where they're actively seeing stuff and it's being subconsciously put into their mindset, because that's really all. Like basketball is basically doing all of these things that you've trained the mind so that when it happens, you can respond quickly with a chicken wrap, with a between the legs, with a crossover, with, if you get caught slipping, that's only because you didn't prepare. And that's what I think is happening in football. I think they're not understanding the leap that's required, the speed of adjustment, and how, because you can watch college football and stuff can stay open for a little bit. But boy, oh boy, you watch the pros and windows close like that. Like you see it, boom, it's shut.
Now you see me, now you don't.
It shuts. So I think if you're not anticipatory, is that a word?
Yeah.
If you're not anticipatory in making decisions and understanding what you're seeing, and then that ball is away before that person even gets into that space or into that zone, then you're too late in the NFL. You're way late. So anyway,
I think it falls into a couple different categories here, right? The best quarterbacks are the best mental processors because they recognize patterns, right? So much of it is we rep this play, the defense reps this play. I recognize what they're doing. I know what I do when I recognize this pattern. That's one aspect of it. But then you think of the quarterbacks who are so good off schedule, right? The pattern breaks down, or a chaos agent jumps in and throws the pattern off. The best quarterbacks know how to adapt to that as well. The quarterbacks that have moments of success and moments of struggle, or the up and down ones, are the ones that are either really good in structure or really good out of structure. The guys that are system quarterbacks, or system point guards, whatever you want to say, or that when everything, goes up the creek and you're without a paddle, that they're able to make something out of nothing. Okay. When you look at these lists of quarterbacks, right? Anthony Richardson, okay in system, much better out of system guy. Bryce Young, system quarterback. Trey Lance, probably going to end up being a system quarterback. Justin Fields, system guy. You saw what he was doing with Pittsburgh. Will Levis strikes me as an out-of-system guy, right? Big arm, can scramble a little bit. Zach Wilson, out-of-system, off-platform guy. Mac Jones, system guy. Kenny Pickett, system guy. Look at the ones that are starters. Caleb Williams, good at both. Jaden Daniels, good at both. CJ Stroud, system guy, but elite system guy, it seems like. Brock Purdy, system. Trevor Lawrence, system. Jalen Hurts, both. Tua Tagovailoa, system guy. I don't know. There's a lot there. There's a lot of ways for guys to get developed. There's a lot of ways for guys not to get developed. But just like we just got done talking about with Marcus Satterfield, it's not all on him, and it's not all on the organizations, right? There's so many ways for things to go right and things to go wrong.
Thank you guys on the text line. I wish we could get to you guys, and we see questions, good questions from like Josh and Davey, Corey, Mississippi Mud Dog. We see you guys, John. We see you. We just time is not allowing us to get to it at this time.
We might do it for the crossover. Jay Foreman walking in. We'll cross it over to wrap up on the block next.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
To an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Across Nebraska, voters will have the chance to end the current government abortion ban. The government shouldn't be making decisions for families' health care, but right now they are. Ending the ban takes 2 votes. A vote against 434, the first initiative, and then a vote for 439, the last initiative. It's only this combination that will finally get the government out of the personal medical decisions of Nebraska families. Voting against 434 and for 439 ensures that when there's a medical emergency, it's Nebraska families who decide what to do, not the government. This vote against 434 and for 439 makes it so our Nebraska doctors can treat every patient. The government put this ban in place, stripping Nebraska families of their freedom, but you can end it with 2 votes. The first against 434, and then vote for 439. Paid for by Protect Our Rights.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block. Strick Austin with you, joined by Jay Foreman. We'll bring him in here in just a sec. Want to shout out Jason, who won the couple milk gift cards for the toughest positions in sports. Also want to shout out Nick Coop, friend of my buddy and my brothers at Lou Chap down the street from us here. Nick, appreciate you for listening. Appreciate you being a fan. Text in sometime. Nick would love to have your number in the system and hear from you too. With that, Strick and Austin with you. Let's bring in Jay Foreman. Jay, what's up? How you doing?
What's going on?
A lot. Had a lot of good discussions today. I think this would be an interesting conversation to jump off with you, though. What are the 3 toughest positions in football? Hardest to play, besides all of them. If you got to narrow it down.
Whatever position I was playing. No,
running back, linebacker, and
quarterback for sure.
Number 1
at the professional level.
Yeah.
You say quarterback?
Quarterback, especially going from college. There's not a lot of development, so they're play unless you're really invested in the football, which, as we've seen, a lot of kids just are distracted, I guess. Quarterback is definitely hard because it's such a step up in the complexity of defenses and stuff. Then I would probably say left tackle, because of if you don't see these type of pass rushers and blitz schemes, and so and plus if you're just out there by yourself. And then I would probably say corner, and that's if you're playing man. Those are the 3 toughest positions to play.
So you're saying you had it easy. You copped out by playing linebacker.
I would say linebacker is 4th. Close 4th.
Jay, let me be honest with you, real talk, and be real, because we knew you were great at what you did, right? The style that you played as a linebacker, do you think, real talk, that you could be at the level you was in this style of today?
Oh yeah. I'd be even better.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
I would
So you weren't just a run stop.
No, I would have flourished in this because
you're slew-footed.
Because and I'm slew-footed. Listen, I can
not
go home.
but because
I can go home.
Slew-footed linebackers are like the best in like bow-legged basketball players who can jump.
Yeah, we ain't getting off balance. I think just my mind for the game, my willingness to outwork people. Okay. I felt like I match up really, really a little bit better. I think what helped me be successful, or to go against bigger linemen and better offensive linemen, in general, the Will Shields and all that, was my knowledge of the game. So I felt like if I took that plus my athletic ability, I probably wouldn't have had to bend. I could have probably played at 230
years. Yeah.
Could have probably played at 230.
Yeah, you didn't have to bulk up as much.
It wouldn't have been. If I'm 238 one week, fine. If I'm 230 one week, if I'm 228 that week, you go out there. They're not really coming downhill. The size of running back. I mean, you got to think, dude. Edgerrin James was like 220.
Woo. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With speed.
Right. And I saw Curtis Martin the other night. I mean, that dude was the truth.
Yeah, Curtis was good, bro.
And you got to think we had like Antoine Smith, those guys. I mean, these guys ain't. Yeah. They ain't doing it. Yeah. And that's no disrespect to them. Now you got Derrick Henry. So yeah, I think I would have done pretty well. Now I think that where it would have definitely took some, and here's why I think I would have done better, because the quarterback play is so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
Wow.
Right. You get what I'm saying? And the linemen aren't as good. I mean, and this is not, look, man, I'm not here to toot my own horn. I barely can remember any plays I played. I just know that the type of lineman that I went against and the type of quarterbacks that I went against is significantly different. The game is played different. And I would even argue the quarterbacks that I went against, the Peyton Mannings, the Drew Bledsoes, the Brett Favres,
they were good.
The all those dudes, they would have. Tom Brady, of course. I don't know how did I forget Tom Brady? All these right, all these guys
every week. That's how I felt.
Right.
In the basketball side, how you felt every week on who you had to prepare
Dan Marino. I played against Dan Marino. I played against Warren Moon. Got to play against him, Rich Gannon, all of that. I think they would have lit this league up on fire. Because they weren't able to be as aggressive with the passing game because the receivers would be dead.
Yeah.
Because we could hit them.
They get the
now, if you think just imagine Marvin Harrison without getting jammed.
Sheesh.
With his quick, Peyton would still be playing now. He wouldn't have took all them hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and granted, this is their time is now. It's no different than when I talk about the 90s. It's these guys' time now. But definitely the caliber of competition, I think, was a little bit overall better.
Let's pause 10 quick seconds for station ID here on the ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Jay, do you want another football question or you want a basketball question?
This football season, why not?
Okay. Where should more quarterback development be happening? Should it be taking place? Do college coaches need to be better at developing their guys for the pros? Does the NFL need to have more conversations with college football and say, treat yourselves like our minor league system, develop these guys for us? Or do NFL teams need to take more onus on themselves in how they develop their quarterbacks?
The three suggestions that you just gave all have 33.33 to infinity. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it even starts even before that. I think it starts with youth in high school. Now, granted, that they don't get as much time as college. College doesn't get as much as pros. Pros gets, infinity. And so I think, it starts there. The emphasis, or I guess it has to change. Maybe it has to change in college because the pros you still got to throw. And I was just thinking about this. Patrick Mahomes plays more like a guy that I played against. Like those guys. Like that's what he played. He's like Brett Favre, just better. He is. Right? Gunslinger, throw it everywhere, right? And he's never out of it. There's been times where he's not played good. Then next thing you know, he gets to Travis Kelce, and then you end up losing. That's him, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's where. So the emphasis probably needs to be in college, but you can't do it in college because it's now you have the transfer portal. So if these kids don't get their cupcake and ice cream, they're going to transfer, and then they'll have opportunities to go. And then a lot of these guys that you get are 7-on-7 guys. So that means they don't know how to play 11-on-11. It's like here's the equivalent in basketball for Strick. It's like drafting a guy number 1 based off his workout. Never played. Oh, he's got potential. The funniest thing is we hear Jay Billis say, he ain't shot the ball, but he's got potential to shoot the ball. You can either shoot or you can't. You get what I'm saying? Like he ain't shot the ball the 2 years he was in college, but you know what? He's got potential to shoot. No, he don't.
Give it to Fred Vincent and we'll see.
He can't shoot.
Oh, that's
Anthony Bennett still can't shoot. I mean,
still to this day, right?
Right. But so then I think, what happens is in high school is that you put your best athlete at quarterback and just hope he can throw enough. And then what do you do? Throw it deep. So I think once it becomes an emphasis at college is pros to me. NFL's entertainment. Once it becomes an emphasis here, it'll trickle down.
For sure.
I
think.
One other thing from the text line then before we turn it over to you for old school. Toughest positions in football, where does center rank? We had someone say center should be above cornerback.
What? Are you serious?
Text line. I'm not going to out him.
Let me unplug my stuff.
Yeah,
with that
center is pretty easy. Now, well, I mean, it's not easy, but it's not nowhere. Corner
relative to
corner
because
level.
you're surrounded.
You get a lot of now where the center is hard is calling it, but generally they won't have a rookie do it.
Yeah.
And if you're a veteran guard that you move to center, you've done it before. Center is a hard position to play, but you're kind of you're insulated by help.
Yeah, you're insulated by help.
It is hard to go in there and block some of those guys.
Yeah.
It's more mental. It's more mentally challenging maybe than corner. But playing, there's no man being out there on the island.
Bruh. And like I said,
those athletes.
And like I said, and you've got a receiver that can run 3 fly patterns on you or a post pattern, and you've got to run it with him. And then he's like, and goes to the bench, and then another one coming. You still got to be out there and be
then
ready.
You got a chance. Then you got to get an option route. Yeah.
Shoot.
And plus, let's be honest about offensive alignment, man. You just got to stay in front of somebody for like 2.5 seconds. It used to be 3. They throw the ball so quick, it's 2 seconds.
If you hold him for 2.5 seconds, it's a win.
Yeah.
Pass block win.
Yeah.
What we got on old school, Jay?
Well, we missed the news cycle yesterday, so we got to start from scratch. We didn't get to do any coordinator recap. It's probably been combed over, so we can't do that. We can't really talk about the trades or the Anthony Richardson just got traded. He don't know it yet. And then all jokes aside, we'll do.
Austin's gonna want to hear that one.
We're gonna do NFL first. We'll do NFL first, and let me check my phone here. It's got it. We'll do NFL first, and then we'll do UCLA second, which is obviously the game comes Saturday.
There you go.
There we go.
Sounds
There
great.
it is.
That'll be old school with DP&J coming up here in just a sec. Stricky, we made it through hump day.
Yes, sir.
But no Uncle Kev tomorrow. So
Yeah,
can you
no
still
Uncle
bring the
Kev.
juice? Still bring the energy?
I will.
You'll be good?
I'm going to be fine because I'm going to bring my own because you see what's out there.
Yeah. Hey, hit that
My
sauna.
own
Hit that
clicky.
sauna again. Get
My
feeling good
own
before you come in.
clicky for Stricky.
You was in the sauna?
He discovered the sauna. The
You
magical
with the
properties of the
executive
sauna.
workout?
Yo! He sure
I
did.
like it. I like that.
Strick on the left, Jay in the middle. I'm Austin Norman. This has been On the Block, brought to you by our friends at Nebco. Don't go anywhere. We got old school in just a sec. Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced